The Mike and Tony Show is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey everybody, this is Mitch Jones.
This is Luke Sisnuff.
This is Pro Strongman Stan Carradine.
Hi, this is Dave Freshman.
This is Daylina Tennant.
Hey guys, this is Mark the Couch Guy.
Yeah, you fuck with your boy Antoine Sachs, Buff Up Beer representative.
Thanks for listening to The Mike and Tony Show.
And just remember, we are not doctors.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, The Mike and Tony Show proudly present to you episode 145.
Somebody's gone back and listened to the old episodes for sure. What episode was that? We even put an echo on your voice. It was so ridiculous.
Can you go back and put reverb in that?
I can.
Yeah.
Do you want me to?
Yeah.
All right, I'll do it.
So when everybody hears that, they'll be like, what does he mean put reverb on it? It already had reverb on it.
Anything for you, Pierce. Episode 145. We're deep into it. Two guests that have not been on in a very long time. Very long time. One of them was on episode number 2 in the house tonight.
Bruce Leroy. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. Missed you guys.
Missed you too, brother.
Yeah. Bruce Leroy is like one of our popular clips on Reverb Nation, talking about the homeless donut.
One time he slapped a homeless dude in the face with a bag of donuts. It has so many hits.
It has so many hits on that thing. Because we got up and we were talking about it, and like you even showed like the motion. Like you were like, he did this. He said he set up. He's like, and you were like talking about like, I don't have like the athleticism as Bruce Leroy, but he said he like reached back and like with his hips.
He turned with his hips.
Turned with his hips.
Like a baseball player. Yeah, definitely one of the fun. You mentioned before the show that you're still a little shell shocked giving people food outside of Winchell's.
I don't give donuts to homeless people. I don't even offer anymore. I'll just give them money.
Classic story. Also in the house, I don't remember the last time you were on, bro.
He's on 50. He's on 50.
Is that the last time? Is that the only time?
No.
You've been on a couple
No, he was
times
on
at
with
least.
he was on the time when we had him with brewing. He brought us the TB12.
Yes, the beers.
Oh, yeah.
He brought us TB12.
What episode was that?
Before 50.
Yeah.
Before 50. So even longer. Joe Dub in the house, everybody.
Thank you.
Surprised we don't.
It's a reunion.
We almost went down the road of like having all the fake sounds all the time.
Yeah.
Like hitting the crowd and the laughter.
Morning zoo, like slapstick. Like
It's so funny when you listen to those early episodes how much we sounded like radio talk shows.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning. I think that's what we were going for. And eventually we were just like we, and even fun facts, we kind of like bring back the segments and then we let them go and then we bring it back.
So we get too interesting. We get too interesting in our podcast that we don't have time for fun facts.
We just plow through everything. So, Bruce Leroy, let's start with you, bro, because I haven't seen you forever. Trying to think the last time I literally saw you. I can't even remember. Was it Rimcat?
Yep.
Really? So pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen you since COVID.
Yep.
That's kind of nuts, dude. And also you said over there at Rimcat that didn't they go all remote? Like they got rid of the office spaces or something like that?
Yeah, we were full remote. When I left, it was 100% remote.
Damn, that's nuts. And you are on a path where you spend hours upon hours and hours a day, nose in a book.
I made a bad choice. Careful what you wish for.
He's on his way to be Dr. Leroy.
Yeah. Dr.
Hopefully.
Bruce Leroy.
Yeah.
Just scare the shit out of all of you guys when you go to the doctor. They teach you cardio like the entire heart in a week. So just remember that.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, it was freaking me out. That's what we were talking about before the show. I was talking about my experience with my head and how the doctors missed it. And I asked for a CT scan and they didn't give me one. And Bruce Leroy was like, shaking his head. Like that's common. Those are basic signs that you're supposed to pick up on.
They only go over the heart for a week.
I know. It's not like cardiovascular disease is an issue in the United States or anything.
Just know that your future physicians learn the entire anatomy in about 5 weeks.
And there's no requirements to continue your education, huh?
No.
That's the thing I trip out on. Like people who become doctors and it's like 30 years of science comes out and they don't have to go learn any of it. That's
Can you imagine like there's those doctors from like the 50s, the 60s, like going all the way through like your pediatricians and stuff, and then all the way through the 80s, and it's like, no, just take some of this cocaine.
Oh yeah, they do like board research, like recertifications after you get going. But like in like medical school, we don't learn shit. Like right now, if one of you guys got sick, we're all calling 911. I couldn't do fucking shit. The Crip cycle is not gonna fucking save you. Oops, bad words. It's not.
Oh my God, that is terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. I've always had a hard time with the doctor. I've never trusted the doctor. When I was young, I was kind of stupid and went like too far the other way. It was like all Eastern medicine. And, I mean, you got a broken leg with a bone sticking out, like fucking.
You went full Bob Marley.
I did Tai Chi to heal my femur. Like that's not gonna work.
You went full Bob Marley. Remember he did that?
Yeah, but I'd still go to the doctor.
And then all of a sudden he's like, okay, this cancer's for real. I gotta go to the doctor.
Yeah.
No, it's too late.
Yeah, that was kind of sad actually, because he like really adhered to his religion until the end.
Yeah.
And then when he got really desperate, he was like, fuck it, let's try anything. They were trying surgeries, trying different like chemical therapies, like whatever they could do. But when you get told you got to go in and get checked up because cancer's no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about getting old, I think I told you I have a thing on my leg I got to get checked, like a little mark because the doctor suspects it might be cancer. Different doctor. Let me clarify.
A dermatologist, you mean?
Yeah. Well, it runs in my family. My mom, my grandma both had it. They had like skin cancer. We knew somebody at Jones. Who was that? Somebody got skin cancer in their arm while we were there.
Tiffany Malafronte.
Oh, yeah. Look at that memory,
Yeah,
dude.
quick.
Look at that memory. Holy shit, dude. Yeah, as you get older, the things start getting weird, man. Metabolism gets different. Everything gets different.
Things hurt longer.
Mm-hmm. And but I think you can avoid a lot of it, but it all has to do with like how good are your habits. And when you're young, you don't give a fuck. And then all of a sudden, those habits over decades, all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I should have been doing this my whole life.
My last physical that I took last year, like my physician was like, have you had a full body workup at the dermatologist? I was like, the fuck? No. And he's like, well, you get to that age, well, you might, things are growing weird. And
Is that how your doctor talks?
And I was like, what? Things are growing? Like I'm a teenager again? Like things might be changing on you.
You're gonna have
you don't know about.
You're gonna have some new feelings. You're gonna grow hair in some new places.
Yeah, it's all true.
It's all true. Puberty 2.0. But no, yeah, it was like you might want to get checked out, dermatologist, and see, if you got any unusual spots or moles or anything like that, and have that checked out. And I was like, oh man, I don't know how I feel about spreading my cheeks for somebody just to.
I know how I feel about it, bro. Not feeling it.
They ask you. They'll give you a choice at least. And
What?
so when you get the prostate exam, they're going to ask you, do you want to be in the lateral recumbent position, which means like laying on your side?
Yeah.
Or do you want to bend over, lay on your side? I just feel like for me, if I'm going to have another man play with my booty, I'm not going to be bending over. I'll lay on my side. It feels more medical that way.
Yeah.
I'll just get sedated. I'll just get sedated.
I think I'm with Bruce Leroy. I'm not feeling it either way, though.
Well,
I'll bring my own.
They don't say that until like your mid to late 40s if there's no like cancer in your family or anything like that. That's what they said. So
44, bro.
yeah, so you're coming up dollar on that.
Yeah. My next checkup.
Lay on your side.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's a milestone in my life. I just want to thank everybody for being younger than me in this room.
Everyone doubted you.
No, it's what I think about sometimes being a dude is so much easier than being a woman.
Oh yeah.
Like physically, like with the shit that happens to your body. And if you have babies and stuff like that.
Your checkups.
Yeah, I was talking to my daughter today, so she saw a video she needed to see.
Ugh.
It was of a live birth, and she came to me like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah.
You have a new respect for your mother right now."
Yeah. Your mom did it without drugs.
She
All three
did.
times.
Yep.
All 3 times.
That's what I told her.
Yeah.
I know the look on Bruce Leroy's face. Yeah, unbelievable, dude. And I thought I was going to be like a total pansy. I mean, I'm kind of a pansy in general, but I thought for sure, like when I saw it, I wasn't going to be able to take it. And then when it actually got time, we had done so much practicing with breathing that I was so focused on her because I saw what was happening, bro. I was like, oh my God, just breathe.
Yeah. I remember with like during ours, it was like, it got to the point where the head was coming out. And the doctor was like, if you want to reach down, you can touch your hair if you want to. And just, da, da, da. And I just remember Tierra being there and like, no, I just want to get it out. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to touch it or anything.
Such a beautiful
Do
moment.
you want a mirror? Do you want to see what this is like? What? And I remember just like looking when she said that. Do you want a mirror? And I just remember looking and being like, you don't want to see this. You don't want to see this.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a disaster.
It's beautiful, but it's a mess.
I think one of the funniest movies that like interprets that is like Knocked Up. Remember we're in there in the birthing room and like liquid is flying everywhere and it's like
Yeah, I remember cutting the umbilical cord and just blood just like exploding. You're like, Jesus, it's like a horror movie in here. Welcome to the world, buddy. And then our son did your kids have jaundice at all?
Oh
My
yeah.
son did, yeah.
Callie did. We had to go to fucking Children's Hospital. Remember that for a whole week
Oh, that's right.
afterwards.
I remember because that was Jaden too. It wasn't a full week, but
Yeah, we had to go a whole week, and I remember we were just sitting there, and this was in an earlier podcast too. I described this, and it was like we had to go home with a little like they call it a billy light. So like your baby looks like a glowworm essentially.
Yep.
Like remember those toys, the glowworms?
Oh, yeah.
So she looked like a glowworm. She had to stay in it and like feed it and everything like that. And then we took her for her checkup like 3 days after we left the hospital, and then we came back home, and I'm sitting there making salmon. And I had just like put salmon in the oven. We're making dinner. It's like 6:00 at night. Get a phone call from the doctor, and it's like, "Hey, we got the bilirubin levels back, and we're just gonna need her to come back in." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, just like next week or like Monday or something," because this is a Friday. And it was like, "No, I called Children's Hospital's NICU unit, and they have a room for you ready now." I'm like, "Well, like right now, right now." And it's like, yeah, you need to come here now. And I was like, oh my God. And, just like when they say that, you just like freak out. I'm like, I just put salmon in the oven. Like, I remember just turning the oven off and just like leaving the fucking salmon just sat in there, dude. Like,
yeah, of course.
And so got to the freaking hospital. You go to the NICU unit, which is like all the
baby,
the
baby
preborn babies and stuff like that. And all the helicopter babies, And I just remember being like, oh my God, and like babies in tubes hooked up to like machines. And here we are too in the same area. And it's like this machine, that's not even a machine, it's like a full on tanning bed that Callie had to sit on for 5 days, 24 hours a day. Like she had to have like little goggles on like the whole time and just stay in this light.
Protect her eyes or whatever.
Just stay in that light for like 5 whole days, dude.
Yeah.
And I remember like, tear crying and like, oh my God. I'm like, it's like, look around. We doing all right. We doing all right. These other babies are hooked up to tubes and everything.
Right.
If she's just hooked up to a light, then we doing okay.
Yeah, for sure. When you have a kid, man, you realize there's like a whole nother level of emotional investment, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like, especially when it starts off that way.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm a dad. Oh my God.
Well, funny you say that. Since me and you have always had a kid while we had the podcast going. But since the podcast, these two have become fathers as well.
Arguably because of the podcast.
Oh, it is. Was it that night?
I mean, you can't draw lines, but I mean, correlations there at least.
That is funny. Bruce Leroy, I remember you calling me one day on the way home from work, and I was sitting down the road, and you were just asking me, getting my thoughts on having, more kids, like additional children. And I was like, I remember telling you a few things and acting like I knew what the fuck I was talking about. And then I walked away later and I was like, there's nothing I could have said. There was nothing I could have said that would give you any accurate idea of what you might be getting into.
It's impossible to be ready for. Like, you just go. You just can't.
Yeah.
That's
You
how
can
I
read
wonder,
a book, but
how do they write the book though? Because
Yeah.
you're writing a book about some shit you're telling lies.
Yeah.
Like, and shit in them books true because the dynamic for everybody's so different. You just have no idea till you get like knee deep in it, and then you're like reading this book about how to calm down a 3-year-old psychopath, and it's like, well, you're gonna negotiate, and then I look at you and like, get the fuck out my room, and you're like, oh, we're done negotiating.
Negotiations have come to a halt.
The books and the blogs are like, oh, you definitely don't want to give him like candy to calm him down. Like, hell no, I'm gonna give candy to calm him down. Like, if she's gonna scream for an hour, or I can give her some M&Ms. Like 3 M&Ms and she's calm, and I can talk to her after that. Like, I'm gonna give her the M&Ms. Like,
You know what's really interesting is going back and listening to our conversations about around cell phones. Because think about the time, because that's the other thing. Because everybody's individual circumstance definitely plays a huge role, but also the time you live in. Because my first kid was born in 2006, and then 2009 and 2010. The iPhone came out in 2008, and to me, that's just sort of like one of those like cornerstones where you just like realize technology really started accelerating. And I remember us having conversations, and I was laughing my ass off because you guys were asking me like, what age you're going to let your kids have a cell phone, and I was like, I don't know anymore, man. I actually really was gonna wait till 16.
Yeah,
but all these kids, like every single one of their friends has them. Like everybody's got them, and then I'm like, it's starting to feel weird to not let them have one. And I was laughing because that fool you just saw in here is 16 years old. Can you imagine if I waited till right now? He's a junior in high school. I'm like, yo, bro, I think it's about time.
It's about that time, son.
You can have a cell phone.
Have the talk.
He'd be like, dude, I have one.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You get a paycheck, dude.
They're $30. Like, you just get one.
I use Mint Mobile. It's like $10 a month.
Yeah.
No, that's what we were talking about too. I remember because I was the same way. I was like, 16. I feel like that's when I got mine. I got mine at like 16, and then it was like some people I think said like 12 or something. They were like 12 years old and this and that. And then I changed mine to like 12. I remember like a while ago, like 12 because then she can stay home alone legally within Colorado law. She can stay at home 12. I was like this and that, and then the first night that she was called for a sleepover at a friend's house, Tiara's like, she needs a cell phone. She needs a cell phone.
Yeah,
she needs to be able to contact us whenever. I'm like, she's 8. She's 8. I said 12. I said 12.
Well, you were joking too, because when I was talking about getting Jaden a cell phone, you were like, "What in the heck are they even going to be? What are they texting about? Yo, man, I'm about to go out to the playground." You were saying stuff like that. I was like, "No, man, they're so much more savvy with all of it than we are for sure. They're my go-to. Like if I have problems with the TV and shit, or like I can't figure out some app, I'm trying to do something. That's the other weird thing about getting old, dude. Is you start finding yourself a little out of touch, and you're like, what the fuck? How is this happening? I used to laugh at my grandparents for this.
Yeah,
I can't believe this is me.
I'm that dude. I social media is it's passing me by so bad. I don't know. I don't have TikTok. I've never tweeted. I don't even know how to use all the features on Instagram.
I think that's good, bro. I do. I think it's a good thing. Maybe for us. I guess if you're a young guy, it might be a little weird. But yeah,
these guys are young guys.
I guess I'm the youngest one in the room.
Yeah,
I'm old as hell.
How old are you?
I had to think about it.
I'm about to turn 34. Yeah.
Okay, so he's like the age I was when we started the podcast.
Yeah.
That Jesus.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I just had a heart palpitation. I don't know what.
So you tell me I could be you someday?
This can be all yours.
Yeah.
All this.
Yeah, no, it's wild how fast it goes by, how quick the kids get older, and you think that you're going to get out of the problems. You're like, oh man, I'm looking forward. I don't got to clean asses anymore. Thank you. But no, then you get a whole other host of issues.
Yeah.
The girls start developing. The guys start calling her in front of me, talking to her. You're like, I got to meet this dude. She has a boyfriend. Jilly has a boyfriend.
I know.
He's a nice dude. I'm so thankful because if he was. You know who the dude doesn't have to worry about is me. You know he has to worry about that big brother.
Yeah.
He does not fucking play.
Yeah.
And I love it. I'm like, yes. Take care of it, sir.
Take care of it.
Report back to me.
Yeah.
Let me know. Plus, that's the other thing he does for me too. Is like they do for each other. They don't know. I hope they don't listen to they don't listen to podcasts. They don't give a fuck what these old men are talking about in this room. But yeah, no, I use them because they're all on Snapchat and all the social media, so they're my connection to know what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
Because when they think that you can't see it, they act different. And I've
Yeah.
encountered that a few times.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to sit down and talk. You think I got eyes everywhere. I'm not even going to tell you how I know this, but I know. Yeah.
Jay's big, man.
He is big, dude.
Yeah.
I was telling you before the show, he sent me a picture today saying it was like a whiteboard with all the students listed in order. It was like the top 5 in the school for bench press, and he's number 1, 255 at 16 years. I thought he said 245. Did I say 245?
Yeah.
I swear it was 255. Let me look real quick.
Whatever it is, at 16, he's huge.
I wasn't doing that at 16.
Nah. I pulled up to your house, he's on the front porch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 255, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 245 was the second.
Yeah.
And then after that, it just drops off.
220.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. That's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. I'm wondering if he's going to be taller than me because he's still getting taller all the time. He just still...
Yeah.
I'm going to do, Pierce. I didn't foresee this problem. This is an issue.
How are you going to discipline him, Dollar?
Yeah. No, well, you get to 16, man. Honestly, short of the law, you're kind of your own dude. Like, you're going to do your own thing. At my house, you respect my rules. You respect what's going on here. But at the same time, what is he going to do if I'm like, you ain't leaving? He's like, I'm leaving. What am I going to do? What am I going to do for real?
Not let him leave?
Okay. Maybe you could. Yeah.
Or one time...
And also at this point too, I'm starting to look at it like you get a certain amount of time, right? And then you get to those last couple of years, like what are you really going to do in those 2 years? Like if you're doing some shit that I don't agree with, don't do it in my house, don't do it around me, but soon enough you're going to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the fuck around and find out graph.
Yeah, for sure.
The more you fuck around, the more you're going to...
I mean, that's like being a dad in a nutshell, right? It's like I'm
Yeah.
telling you, and I remember my dad. I used to think my dad. I was like, "You always fucking telling me some shit. I always got something to say." And it was just like,
That's what
yeah. He was always usually right about those things. It was like he could predict the future, but it's not that. It's experience. Like
That's
as you
all
get
it is.
older, you've lived, you've experienced. And it's like you can look at your kids and be like, "I'm going to tell you straight up, if you do that, this will happen." And they're like,
Yep.
"You don't know shit," and then they go do it, and it's like, "Ah,
Yep.
I fucking told you."
Over and over again. It's
Every
a
time.
never-ending cycle.
No, they just look at you like you're stupid. Like you don't know anything about nothing. I'm like, I'm telling you because I already made that mistake, so it will happen.
Yep.
Nope.
Callie's in the I know phase.
Oh yeah.
I know. Do you know? You don't know?
Such an irritating face.
You don't know, dude. Like I just told you this 2 seconds ago. You found out 2 seconds ago.
I know.
You don't know. No, I know. Well, if you knew, you should have been done already. That's mine.
So, how old are your guys' kids? How old are yours, Bruce Leroy?
Charlie will be 4 in May, and Gray is 1, like 1.5.
That's a whole different world.
Mine are both 3. It's easy.
Both, yeah. Oh, yeah, obviously. Yeah. Yeah, 3. Holy shit. Yeah. Well, I can't say it gets better. It gets different. That's all.
It's once they started walking, it's downhill. Yeah.
I know. As soon as they can get around and then they start talking like crazy and they start thinking for themselves. Damn it. Just want a remote control.
Yeah,
Go to bed.
they both started going to the bathroom on their own now.
Huh?
Like I'll just be like sitting in a room and I hear the toilet flush. Like, the fuck was that? you just flush in the toilet and they're just looking at me like, pooped. I'm like, dope, cool, all right,
nice.
yeah.
Hey,
Thanks for the heads up.
do you wash your hands? No.
Nope.
Yeah.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah. No, you hit it on the head though, man. It's like everybody's in a different situation. The other thing is every kid comes out different.
Yeah.
They just have different
That was
personalities.
going to be my question to you two, since it doesn't
Yeah.
really apply to us. Like, you can't say, like, is the second one crazier or is the second one more calmer?
No. No. Jay is just a unique human being in general. I have not encountered a lot of
But
people
I'm saying
in my
the
life.
second
that-
one. Your second one. Is the second one crazier,
No.
wilder, chiller? What about-
Chiller.
Yeah. I mean, he's actually like, Charlie's nuts. She's nuts. And I can't get mad at her because she's like super spirited and just very independent.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, damn, that's me with a vagina and hair. So I don't get mad, but he's just like, give me my bottle. He chills. He's a big mama's boy.
No.
So he's definitely like more just relaxed kind of.
Yeah.
And she's just full speed ahead 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But that's what I didn't
your
see.
Second one's chill.
Huh? Second one's chill. Third one is me, the youngest one. She's me when I was younger. She's like the one with super anxiety, like just studies her ass off. If she gets anything less than an A, she's like freaking out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's a rough road.
So which one is more like Myra then?
I would say probably the middle one, Jillian.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's more like her. She's go with the flow and like really chill, but when she makes a decision about something, she's firm. Like that's one thing I really am glad to see in all three of the kids is that they're just like they're themselves and they don't really give a shit what anybody else is thinking or doing, which is really cool because that wasn't me. I was like, I wanted to be cool so fucking bad. And I couldn't be, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's a weird thing, but I don't know. I think some of that is stability. You know, when we have stability growing up, you tend to find your comfort a little bit easier and like who you are. Not afraid to be like, nah, I ain't doing that. You guys are stupid. Which that's the greatest thing to hear in the world when you're a father. Serious.
Yeah.
Because that's how most kids get into stupid shit. It's stupid friends.
Yeah.
It's bad friends or like, you know, being a poor judge of character. Yeah.
It starts early. Like Charlie goes to like a private preschool.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the stuff that she says, like she comes home, I'm like, yeah, I know where you're getting that from.
Yeah.
That's a school because you know
Yeah.
you're not going to talk to me like that. And I can see on pickup when the Lululemon and Louis Vuittons pick up and the kid is screaming, I was like, yeah, that's where you think. Don't even try that around I will snatch you up so smooth.
Smooth. I like the smoothness.
Yeah, I had to get her today. We went to the 3D Disney thing, which is really cool. She was like kind of, excited and doing her thing. And she kind of got this attitude and it was crazy. And I was like, look, we can go in the bathroom. I'll tighten you up right now. And she's like, no. Next thing you know, we're good.
Yeah.
My threat was the conversation. You want to go to a conversation? You guys probably heard me say that too before. Like, you want to have a conversation? Because I started that from the beginning. Like, I'd take her and go talk to her. And I was like, you ain't gonna do that. Like, and we'd like be out in a restaurant or something. And I go out there and like talk to her, and they like bring her back. Like, we're done, right? I was like, yes, we're done. Yeah, because I'm the typical like I hear because it's a battle between the girls, right? The girls battle each other. Like Tia and Callie battle each other. It's like they'll be arguing. You can hear Callie like back talking her, and I'll be upstairs and I'll be like, hey, and you just hear.
It just gets quiet.
Sorry, Daddy. What do you say to her? Like, what did you say to her? And I'll come downstairs.
Yeah.
I heard what you said to her. You better go apologize right now. Okay. She'll go over there and apologize.
Yeah.
As I always tell her too, it's like, that's my mama. I was like, don't talk to her like that.
Yeah. I do think that's an important thing to set that standard with the kids, like to have respect for their mother. Back to that whole labor thing, bro.
Yeah.
You need to have some respect. You have no idea.
She's put in the work already.
Yeah, she's put in the work. Yeah, 100%. It's so crazy. It's crazy times to be raising children, though. I really think, and I think we're in. And it's easy to say that. It's cliche, I guess, to just always think that our time is so unique or whatever. But I do feel like it is. In a similar way to like the Industrial Revolution or something. Like there's really something crazy happening, and life is changing, culture is changing in a really fast way. Like I was telling you about, my son working at McDonald's. They fucking come and go as they please, bro. Like all his coworkers, like they just literally will just show up when they want. They show up.
What?
They leap. Yeah, I told you this. Remember? I thought we talked about it on the podcast. Maybe not.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm still like,
yeah.
What? Like,
that was me. I was just dumbfounded. I'm like, they don't get fired. Like how many times do they do this? Well, they're just happy to have people because they're so desperate for people working.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, you fuck up once. You lost your job when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Like, you
well, I guess it's relatable because like at the gym, when I worked at the gym, the overnight person.
Yeah.
Like this one particular overnight person we had like numerous complaints. It was like, yeah, he was sleeping behind the counter.
Oh my God.
Like laying on the ground sleeping. like laying on the ground sleeping. And they were like,
he had a sleeping bag
and they were like,
pillow.
Yeah, and they were like, well, I mean, it's hard to hire overnight people. Nobody wants to work overnight. And he at least shows up.
So where is everybody?
I mean,
Like, why are there no people willing to work? What is everybody living off of?
everybody can now be picky and choosy about where they can work because now, again, unfortunately, like me and you are still in the education realm, Dollar.
Mm.
Education is not held up to that standard anymore. Most jobs do not require bachelors, right? Do not require math. You know, some like higher end stuff, master stuff like that. But like, you know, coming into jobs now, you don't need that education requirement. A lot of the jobs, like for example, our job now, we had a job that we just posted, we were trying to hire for. We had to lower all of our standards to basically become an entry level thing. Where it's like bachelors or, you know, education consumerate with experience that equals whatever education. And so now I just think it's like everyone can be fucking picky as choosy as they want to and be like, well, do you need somebody to work? I'm like, well, yeah, all right, well, maybe I'll come in. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like one of those things, like, because it's hard to fill these positions because of that, I think.
Yeah, that's a really crazy thing to think about because the world's so different.
Because, I mean, you being a teacher, I mean, right?
Yeah.
Teachers are hard to hire.
Oh, yeah. No, we lost 4 or 5 teachers this year that just can't take it. I'll tell you what, though, in their defense, I mean, I haven't been doing it this long. This is my 4th year. But after COVID, shit changed dramatically. Once everybody was out of school for so long and like doing the online thing, when they came back, at first it was like the honeymoon, you know, everybody was like, oh, we're so happy they're social again. And all us teachers were like high-fiving because we're so happy for the kids because they've been on lockdown for so long. And very quickly you find out that it's like, they don't give a fuck. Like nobody cares anymore. They don't care about going to class. They don't care about doing their work. Like they just do whatever the hell they want. They don't care about discipline. They get up and walk out of the classroom. Like you're seeing so many things now that I mean, you saw those things sometimes, but not like after COVID. I don't know what it was about COVID, but everything's different. And you're seeing it because I was just telling you, this was last year I read that it's basically a quarter of teachers nationwide left the profession between like 20 and 21, something like that.
Jeez.
That's nuts, dude. And you see it happening right in front of you. Like, you know, literally the classroom across from me has had 1, 2, 3 teachers this year. And that's that one classroom.
Yeah.
Because they can't take it. People are just like, I can't do this.
Well, I think charter schools are also blowing up like crazy too, right?
Uh-huh.
And our charter schools, I mean, maybe you can tell me differently. Our charter schools, their requirements as far as like teaching and certifications aren't as like what
they can get away
PPS
with a lot more.
Yeah. They can like not have a certification. They can just basically
Correct.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of things they can do. They can get funds in different ways. They have 1,000 advantages that public schools don't have. Which is funny because they get to piggyback off of public schools and get all the benefits. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, they can cut all these corners and do all these funky things and get away with shit. Which makes it easier, honestly. The truth is I wish we had that kind of maneuverability in public schools because the challenges we're facing are crazy. And so, like, there's so many different things you could do, you know, the charter schools can do, but you can't do in a public school. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you ever teach at like the collegiate level, or have you ever thought about teaching at a different level?
That's my retirement plan. Yeah. I'm going to keep going with the education. Eventually I want to have a PhD. And then when I go to retire, I want to teach online. Who knows what that's going to look like in the future. It might even be something
It'll be
totally
in the
different.
metaverse.
Like the
Yeah.
A 3D Tony class.
Totally. I just record all my lessons in advance.
Dollar gets to choose his own avatar, and it's like this giant like buff wizard.
You know, people standing up and getting out of class, and it's even worse because they had to like click a button to do that. Like you're still sitting at their desk, or like,
Like, I know you're there still. Damn it! I know you're still there. God damn it.
Yeah. No, I'm very interested in that. I think that would be a cool thing. I don't know. I feel like after you teach middle school, I don't know. I feel like college would be so easy, dude. I really do. I feel like college, all you have to do is know your content, know what you're teaching, teach it well.
Yep.
And that's it. Whereas middle school, you're like, I mean, you're chasing kids, you're working on behavior all the time. You know what I mean?
I'm
They're
not
paying
even
to be
gonna
there.
say it. Yeah,
They're
I'm
paying
not
to
gonna
be
say
there.
it out loud, but people that teach at like a medical school level, they don't fucking teach shit. These motherfuckers read word
you-
for word off the PowerPoint.
I'm gonna have you read chapter 3.
Remember, that's it.
When you're all done, we'll take a quiz tomorrow.
What's even better is they can post a recording of them explaining the PowerPoints to media site, and it's just part of our schedule. And that's what they taught. That's how they teach.
Holy shit.
There you go, $1.
That's why it's retirement.
Yeah.
That's retirement.
You have a syllabus. You just go off the syllabus and you're done.
Yeah, it's already done for you.
Dude, none of this culturally responsive curriculum design, trying to design stuff for your kids to learn that they relate to and they don't do their work, so you're trying to meet them halfway. Like, none of that shit. You're like, here's the lesson, bitches. I'll be on the beach.
Yeah. Walk into the room,
Yeah,
you
huh.
have this recorder and just like, see you guys. Just walk out.
That's it.
I will say that, though, is that I do it because I love it. Truly. I really, really enjoy teaching, and it's super exciting. Like, it's never boring. I had a kid, I had an 8th grader. I'm sorry, they're a 9th grader now. They're in high school, and they came back and visited. We had parent-teacher conferences this week. And so they came back with a younger sibling, and we're saying hi and stuff. And that's really cool. That's one of the coolest things ever. But she's like, Mister, I be seeing you all the time breaking up fights. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And she's like, oh, it's all over. We see all fights. There's like, because they have these sites. We found this out. So it's like on Snapchat and all these places where they just post fights. Yeah. And so they see me breaking up a fight or whatever. And it's like, they try to get rid of them. We file a complaint if we find it or whatever, and it's just another one pops up. They just pop up.
Dude.
You can't stay on top of it. They're just always there. But it's real crazy to, like, as a student, it's so long since I've seen you. How you been? Talk to me about school. How's it going? Like, Mister, why you be breaking up all these fights? Why are they fighting? Why are they doing that to my Mr.
What is
Dollar?
it, like highschoolfight.com? What is it? Middleschoolfight.com? Like, what is it?
No, it's on social media, so it's like Snapchat and
Do you remember
Insta.
remember bumfight.com?
Oh, God.
It's great.
You watch bums fight each other. It was like for like liquor.
It's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah. All that stuff is. Yeah, for sure.
Damn. And you're just dollars over there, just Herb. Herb Dean over there.
He's calling the fights real early.
Dollars over there, Herb Dean in it.
Yeah, you see some crazy shit, man. I remember the worst thing I ever saw was one time a kid got picked up in the hallway, slammed down on his face, and chipped all 4 of his front teeth right out. That was brutal on a passing period.
Oh, God.
Come to find out, the 2 kids didn't even know each other.
What?
Didn't know each other.
You
It
just
was
picked
just
them up and just did it?
some random ass act.
of
Yeah, I probably shouldn't go into it any more than that, but yeah,
damn.
you see some crazy shit, dude. It's wild, and you just think, man, this is the future. Like
That kid could be president someday.
Yeah.
Well, I will say the silver lining is that I have a lot of kids come back and see me. And they come back in high school and they're, sometimes you get negative and you're like, man, I don't know what's going to happen to this kid. And then they come back and see you and they're like, oh, mister, I'm getting straight A's and you weren't playing. Like, they don't care in high school and I got to work hard. And you're just like, yes, I'm so glad you're doing something, man. That's awesome. Yeah.
I know. I want to get to into the aspect of let's go into coaching and stuff like that. Like,
oh yeah,
sports and everything.
Yeah.
Callie don't want to do any of that shit. So
no, not her.
I can't be that weird fucking dad that doesn't have a kid that is coaching a fucking basketball team, right?
You can coach my kids.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'll have my friends. I'll coach friends' kids and stuff like that. But she just wants to do gymnastics, stuff that I can't I ain't doing anything gymnastics anytime soon. So yeah. I know that was my one. I was like, I just want to coach her basketball.
Yeah.
I want to play basketball. I coach you basketball, and she's good. We went to Dave and Buster's last weekend, and the hoop shooting and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, she's a lefty. I always hated guarding lefties when I was in high school, right? In basketball, because where you went to go block it, and here they are shooting on the other side. You're like, no, you're like I went to go do it for the right hand. You're like, damn it,
dude. Coaching is fun.
But she, like I said, she was just shooting the hoops, and just her hand-eye coordination. She definitely has my hand-eye coordination. This girl is just ridiculous, but no, she doesn't want to.
No interest.
Huh?
Yeah, that's that. Every person comes out with their own unique soul, their own tendencies and propensities.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, coaching is fun though. I did it my first year. I coached soccer.
Okay.
I co-taught soccer. I'm so used to saying co-taught all the time. I co-coached soccer because I didn't know the rules well enough. I had to have somebody who actually knew soccer well. But it was fun. But I relate to you, dude, because teaching is so much work. Like you always know teachers are busy. I had no idea, bro. Like I was, especially your first year, you don't know what the fuck you're doing the first year.
I still love your
Poor
first
kids
year.
that I taught my first year. They got the worst, dude.
None of them are coming back.
No.
None of those have come
Good
back.
luck, guys. Sorry.
I remember your first year and you were talking about your lesson plan. You're like, bro, I blew past my lesson plan in like 2 months. My whole year.
What?
Remember you had said something to the effect of like you had blown through your whole lesson plan that you had like done for a year and basically like a quarter of the time.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I phrased it weird. Like 1 week's worth of lesson plans. When I started, it would take me 15 hours to write 5 lessons and like put them together. And that's not and that's just planning it. So you put it on a piece of paper, like this is what I'm going to do. But then you have to create the stuff and create the worksheets and create all the things. And then also I started in English language development. And so there was the district doesn't provide any kind of curriculum. So they're like, here's the basics of what you need to teach them. Here's the tests they're going to take to measure it. Go. and as a first year teacher, and I was an alternative licensure. So I literally just had a bachelor's degree in history and was teaching while I was going to school for my teaching certificate. So you're figuring it out and then the shit they teach you at school is so funny because you're like learning, taking notes. And then you go in the classroom and you're like, this is nothing like what we learned in class. It's so different. Like you picture these beautiful, pristine classrooms where the teacher comes in and is like, okay, everybody start your warm up, and everybody puts pencil to paper and just start, good luck, dude. They're coming in that door like a ninja. They're jumping over fucking desks and go back out. You're doing it again. So no, it's a whole thing, man. I didn't know. I have so much respect for teachers now that I fucking do it. I couldn't believe it, but it's funny to hear your stories about college. I'm like, these are the guys making the big bucks. That's the top of the fucking heap right there, and they just phone it in every day.
There's a few, there's a few that are good teachers, like,
passionate about it, probably.
Yeah, and you remember those teachers, the kids that come back to see you, they remember like you give a shit about teaching, and that really matters because even to this day, I bet all of you could name 1 or 2 teachers that genuinely like gave a shit about you.
Yep.
Like, and there's not a lot, but like I had this old black lady named Miss Curry. Boy, that lady, and I hated her. Oh my God, I hated her in high school. Like, I hated her because she used to ride my ass. But she was like, "You're gonna be something special. Every time you come in my classroom, just know you're gonna be something special." And I think about that lady all the time.
Yeah.
But that was it. She was just driven. She's like, you could do something special. And so there's a few teachers that you remember. Kids do remember her. Even as an adult now, I remember that lady, and that was a sophomore year in high school. I remember her to a T.
Yeah,
so
that's
it matters.
Cool. Yeah, that is really cool, man. But that's what I mean is like what I didn't expect, because for me it was so different how I came into teaching. I did, post-secondary administration my whole life, while I was raising kids, and I hated it. I hated every second of it. I hated fucking packaging students. I hated all of it. I hated it.
I hated working with Mike.
I hated working with Mike.
And working for Mike.
I did work for you at one point.
He was the worst.
Yeah. But I disliked what I did, and I did it for my family so I could put food on the table and have something stable and all that kind of stuff. And so then when I found education, it was like a passion. And when I say education, I was education before too, but I mean teaching or whatever. And so it was a passion for me. And so I had this like blind spot when I went into it, just thinking that, all of us teachers, we're here because we're going. I'm that guy at work. I told you before, Pierce. Yeah. I'm like the guy who comes in clicking my heels and shit. Like I fucking love my job. And then you don't realize that, for somebody else, this is a job they're stuck in too.
Yeah.
Like they didn't plan to be a teacher.
Fuck, I hate this.
And that was kind of shocking for me because I was like, I thought we're all going to, okay.
No,
you're quitting?
Yeah.
Okay. You're quitting? Okay. Damn.
It is funny that in this room, like I'm the only one that's still doing the same job that we all started with.
I still am technically.
Yeah.
I just get paid a lot more. But I mean, the root notes are the same.
Yeah.
It's less stressful now.
And I wanted to add, Dollar, that
Yes.
while I was you and Bruce Leroy's boss, I was pretty freaking cool.
Oh yeah.
There was a point in time where I had to tell you
Oh,
guys.
I'll never forget it, bro. I'll never forget it when you laid down the law.
And then what happened the next fucking day? Everyone was goddamn late again.
Yeah, for the listeners, we all got in trouble.
That was a fishbowl.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
a fishbowl.
So for the listeners,
I'll never forget that, dude.
I had gotten my ass chewed out for my guys always coming in late whenever they wanted, basically, is what everyone said, because everyone was a tattletale at the school that we were at.
Well, they were jealous, bro.
Yeah, super jealous. And so it got to the point where like people were saying like, well, Mike's team just comes in whenever they want and they're always late and this and that. And I got reamed for it. I got in trouble. And so I was like, oh my God. I remember coming into the fishbowl and I was like, all right, guys, we have to have a meeting. And it's just like, okay, everyone's complaining about how we just come in whenever we want. And I don't care whenever you guys come in because you do the work, you get your job done. I'm fine with that. Tomorrow, for this week, can we just be on time, please, for this week? The next fucking day, Joe. All of them, except for like Tony. No, what was it?
No, I was on time.
Yeah, all of them except for Tony were late. Everyone but
I
Tony.
remember seeing you pacing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck.
Everyone was late. Everyone was late. I was
Yeah.
like, you guys.
Dude, then we had the come to Jesus talk. I never heard you talk like that. It was the only time ever. And I don't think I've ever heard you talk like that since. But you were laying down the law. I was like,
Tony's,
Look at my keyboard.
Tony's like this. I was on time today.
He's like, I just want the record to show. I was on time.
yeah. Was that ever hard for you? Like having your friends? Was that the probably the toughest? Or
That's
did you-
that's the toughest is having your friends like work for you. Right?
Yeah.
Because you're like,
I don't envy that.
you don't want to affect any relationships.
Yep.
Right. You want to maintain everything, and everyone. We were always super close. We're all still pretty much super close.
Yeah.
But it was just like it was hard because I wanted to make sure we got the job done, and wanted to make sure that nobody thought it was favoritism, even
Right.
though it kind of legit was favoritism. It's like everybody that was under me was everyone that I picked and choose. I was like, Tony.
Yeah, that's all a show everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everybody gets their job through friends. Everybody gets
Yeah.
special treatment for their relationship to the boss and their friend. You know what I mean? That is literally how it is.
But that legit was how it was. And I just remember everybody complaining like, that's all Mike's friends. He just hired his friends. And I was like, no, they did the jobs before, and like, Tony's really good at his job, and
It's just coincidence.
Everybody in that building did the same shit though.
yeah,
They literally did. Like he hired all of his friends,
Yeah.
all the people he was close to.
So
Like, everybody in
everybody
that
does.
fucking building was doing the same shit. And what was that one red-haired bastard? That fucker.
oh,
I don't give
Yeah.
a shit if you listen to this. He was a snake, bro. He was the biggest
Yeah.
fucking snake, and he
Yeah.
did the same shit. He got the job and then wound up hiring because him and were buddies.
yeah.
And it was like the same thing. I'll
Dude.
never forget when I quit. That day, I took my badge off, and they're like, "Are
we
you
all,
guys?"
I'll never forget that day either,
None of
bro.
us will.
I wasn't there, but I heard the story because remember I was sick. That
Oh,
day.
sorry, yeah,
I was
yeah.
sick.
Bruce Leroy was like, he had said it the whole time. He was just writing this whole like until he was going to find another job. He was just writing until he was going to find another job. The training was supposed to take a while before we were supposed to go back on the phones because we weren't on the phones. We were processing, and then they went back to third party processing, and so Bruce Leroy would always be like, "I'm not going to take a phone call. I'm not going to take a single phone call.
Yep.
I'm not going to."
He said it from the start.
I'm going to do this training, and that's it. And then I'm going to look for a job. And before we take phone calls, I'm gonna leave. And then we had ended our training early. It was like just done. And then I just remember he was like, "All right." He's like, "All right, we're gonna start taking some phone calls." And Bruce Leroy just got all this stuff, put his badge down, collected all this stuff, and just walked out.
Yeah.
He's like
Peeled out in the parking lot.
and that's what he said. That's what he said as he was walking out. I said I wasn't going to take a phone call. Like he was like,
That's one thing I love about Bruce Leroy. When he says something, he means it. Just like when he said, "Touch me one more time, you're gonna have a problem." Dude had a donut in the face problem. Yeah. Oh man, that's so crazy times how fast life goes by. But I remember it was a whole nother world back then. I remember, the first person I ever saw where I started was Stephanie. Because I came to interview and she was the front desk person at the time. And I remember they rescheduled my interview and I was landscaping at the time. And I was like, shit, I'm going to have to go straight there. I'm going to be I'm going to stink like sun, fucking BO, dirty. And so I remember telling Stephanie that. And she's like, I'll let them know. And then she just called back and was like, no, they said it's no problem. Just come in and whatever you're in and we'll take care of it. And I was like, oh shit. And I remember walking in, I was like, dang, this place is fancy. Like, this is way better.
Yep.
Yeah. Who all was in there? So it was Jeff, Joe,
Jesse, Jared, Bruce Leroy here, and then
is that everybody?
you and me.
That's everybody, huh?
Yep.
Other Joe, to clarify.
Yeah.
For people
Yeah,
listening.
yeah,
Joe
not
D.
Joe Dub.
Other-
Joe D.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love how we distinguish by calling him Joe Dub, which starts with a D.
Yeah. And Joe D. Joe Dub, Joe D. Well, that's how it was like when I was at the Rockies with Joe Dub. There was Mike D and 2 Mike P's.
Oh my God.
So it was like, it was like, hey, Mike. Like there was 3 of us like, huh?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, Mike D. And it was like, it sounds like if you say it fast, like Mike P or Mike D, or like all of us would be like, what? Mike P? Like what? So it was just Pierce, Patty, Dulai.
I'm curious, Bruce Leroy, where did you go after that? I can't remember.
After what?
After
He
you
went to CSU.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you were there.
No.
was he-
No, he went to,
Oh, right.
and then that's like, because remember we had like, and that's when I got into and that's when I finally went to the phones, and then we got everybody else jobs at, and then that's when like I finally was like, Joe D was like, I can get you a job. He's with me, and I was like, oh shit, okay. And so that's when I got the job with.
How did I get on? Was it you or one of you?
What to
See.
No, because then he left. He went to first, and then he brought you, and then you brought me.
Yep.
Oh,
That's exactly how it went.
See, that's what's so funny. That's how everybody gets jobs.
Yeah.
That's just how it is, right? But then they
I
get
know
all
this
bent
guy.
out of shape if
Yeah.
it's if it's like
Yeah.
I did Lady at the same way. Same fucking way.
I told her I wasn't gonna fill in the blank.
She was highly unpleasant. She was a very unpleasant
Really?
lady. Yeah, it was like so weird, and like that place was so weird. It was so weird, and I was like, man, some of the stuff we're doing here is so weird, and like this is so illegal. Like we're just giving people these refund checks. I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it come down the pipeline when they start talking about the legislation and stuff, and I was like, ooh,
Uh-oh.
y'all finna be in trouble. And she's like, oh well, it's fine. It's like yeah. I was like, all right, and called me from CSU, and he was like, hey bro, we just want to let you know you got the job. And I was like, all right, cool, when do I start? And he was Monday. This was a Friday. And I just walked over to her desk and I was like, hey, I quit. And she's like, she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I'm done here, and I'll be leaving. And she's like, what do you mean, like no 2 weeks? And I was like, I'm giving you about 2 hours. And that was it.
However long it takes me to pack my shit up.
Yeah.
That was it, bro. I just
Yeah.
bounced. But she was so crazy. Like some of the stuff they would say to us was really weird, and like she talked down to people, and I was like, this is really awkward.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like she used to call the students stupid and stuff in like our meetings. This is so weird. And I was like, whatever, just cut me my check so I can go.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know those. This isn't appropriate. This isn't-
Well, it was funny because like when I was there, that's when they started to start doing the. You can pay $50 a month for our private loan, and then they got in trouble for that. They got like
Yeah.
sued, and all
Yep.
that stuff happened, and they had to basically like forgive all that stuff for all those people that took out all those alternative loans through the school.
Yeah. Yeah, they were all headed down a bad road.
That's why it's
too.
not. We're telling you first, right?
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
parent company doesn't even exist anymore. They got sold too.
Yeah, and that's how I met this guy. Was through there, and it was funny. So it was like we were talking about interesting quittings. I remember when I got the job, I had only been at for like 6 months,
Yeah.
and we had gone on this like we had this retreat planned out and everything, and I was like, oh, and I just like we had just planned out the retreat. I had just got the job at. And
Oh,
the
God.
retreat was like in 2 weeks, and I put in my 2 weeks. And so
You help plan this retreat.
my last week was a retreat,
Yeah.
a week, like a week long retreat.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was funny because I was like, and I felt bad because I was like, hey, I have to put my 2 weeks in. My last week is actually going to be the week after the week of the retreat. I understand if like you want me to stay and work or whatever. And I was like, I'll do that. I'll stay and work and everything. And I just remember Mike Delay being like, no, man, you got us here too. So
Yeah.
you can do the retreat with us.
Oh, that's
And I
cool.
was like, oh yeah. So yeah.
He was
dude.
cool as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He still is. I should
Yeah.
say. He's not dead. He's,
Yeah.
he's still cool.
R.I.P. Mike Delay.
Yeah.
Mine wasn't an interesting quitting, but you remember it when I got let go, when they were like making cuts or whatever.
Yeah.
You guys were joking with me later because I was like clicking my heels as I went out the door. You were saying,
Yeah.
I was so happy. It was like somebody just let me off the hook.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about doing music so seriously at
Yeah.
that point. And so I took like 2 years. I'm like, I'm going to do music. And I was like, this is really fucking hard to make a living out of music when you got kids and shit.
Come to think about it, I did them like that too.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You just walked out.
I heard about
I
that.
sent
That was
them
after
motherfuckers an email on
Yeah. He
Friday.
left your computer
He
on
left
the
his
desk.
computer on the desk. Yeah.
I sure did. Yeah.
Because he was like the interim director at the time.
They tried to fuck me, and then I just didn't appreciate that. You know, I operated a lot like athletes operate now, but when I was younger, and I've always had that mindset.
Trade me.
Like fuck that.
Yeah.
I don't have to play for you. Like I was always frugal, so I always had money, and I never had to worry about being unemployed. So I was like, dude, we're on a 2-week contract. 'Cause if I don't want to fucking work here no more, I will leave. I don't owe you shit.
Yeah.
That's freeing, bro.
But I always kept
Week
myself
to week
in
like
that
an apartment.
position. Yeah, because I remember Dr. Not even a real doctor. You got a fucking PhD from Ashford. And I was like, you run around calling yourself a doctor.
She's out there listening.
I don't care. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
She said something about, asked me some questions about financial aid. And she asked, I remember that woman looked at me and she said, what is your malfunction? And I said, excuse me? And she goes, yeah, what is it that you don't understand? What's your malfunction? And I was like, I don't really have a malfunction. And I was like, what is it that you're implying? And then she just kind of like scoffed and then, well, you know, if you want to be here, then you're going to have to like be all in. And then I was like,
Nah.
this is crazy. And I was like, there's no way. And I was like, I'll do it if I report to you. And she's like, nah, you're going to have to report to. There's no way. After she talked to me like that, I sent an email and I was like, this is no longer conducive to my health. And frankly, I don't want to work here anymore. Best of luck. That's all the email said.
It's so good for
I
your
hit
health,
send on
dude.
that shit and rolled out of there.
Hell yeah. Yep. Deuces. That's good for your health, though, man. See, I was the opposite. I had so many jobs and smiled to people I fucking couldn't stand. And just it's so much of that stuff. Whereas that's got to be free. You never been like that. You even told the homeless dude, man. Whatever it is, you know. I think that is really healthy, you know. And it's funny because that's how it is now. You know, back then when we were growing up, you know, you had loyalty was a thing. There's no loyalty anymore.
No,
it's like we're all a contract.
That's
you
what I was
know?
saying. That's why it's so hard to fill positions now because
Yeah.
everyone's a free agent.
It's true. But it's hard to find companies that are loyal, right? Like,
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
right. And that's always the flip side. I was like, as soon as you guys have to burn me, you're going to burn me. Like you saw it happen at when they no longer needed you. It was like, they just came and start giving people checks. Oh, we cut you. I was like, oh shit. Like I come to work every day on time, did my job, worked my ass off. And all of a sudden one day you wake up and they're just like, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
Well, one day I woke up and I was like, I don't need you no more. Shit.
yeah.
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 I told someone once because they were stressing out about getting a new job. Like, I got to put in my 2 weeks notice. Like, you don't have to put in 2 weeks notice. They don't have to give you 2 weeks notice.
They won't.
Like,
Yeah. They were- yeah.
you don't owe them anything. They don't owe you anything.
Yeah.
Like you did your job. They paid you. Just like when you're like when done with a prostitute, like they just leave.
Yeah.
Like, it's done. Like interaction's
Thanks for your
done.
services.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no hard feelings. Like
Thanks for your services. It was all right.
no tip.
No tip.
Yeah, see, and that's what so much of life is putting yourself in that position where you can do that. Because that's the other side. Like for me, for example, even if I had wanted to be that way, dude, I had kids and like
Yeah.
if I couldn't be guaranteed I was going to have something lined up.
Yeah.
I remember at one point you were going to hook me up with a job. I don't remember when that was, but I distinctly remember that it was going to be at a bank. You were going to like,
Oh yeah, yeah. I tried to hire a bunch of people. They wouldn't listen to me for anything. And everyone that they ended up hiring quit, tried to sue the company, didn't show up. Then a person that was like every day taking 2-hour lunches to go take yoga classes and stuff. I was like, you can hire my
well-being.
friends. Like, they're dumb as hell, but they work. Like,
They'll be here.
yeah,
They'll be
they'll
here.
show up and actually do the job. But
Yeah.
And that was me. I was always the 2-week guy, like being nice about it. Like, oh, I'll give you 2 weeks. Like I had something lined up. I'll give you 2 weeks and this and that. And then like the only place that ever did me dirty on the 2 weeks was when I put my 2 weeks in, and because like I did everything there.
That was one of the only jobs we
You
never
remember that?
We never overlapped. I came
Bruce-
after you.
Yeah, because Bruce Leroy was there, and we had just like that's when we combined our friggin' office. So it was like me, Bruce Leroy, and this other lady, Dottie. Yeah, in the same office. And
Bro. I still tell the story of Dottie.
yeah, night. Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, she was like, I remember I put in my 2 weeks, and like the job that I did, nobody else did. Like
Yeah.
nobody else did this particular job. Nobody else knew how to do this particular job. And I was like, I told, the director, I was like, yeah, I was like, I can teach you how to do this and this and that. And, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, okay, well, we can do it tomorrow. And she'd always push it off. And like, I didn't even like get a full 2 weeks. I think like the 4th day or something in my 2 weeks. I came back from lunch. I went to the gym. I came back from lunch, and she's like, I need to talk to you. Here's your check. I was like, what? I was like, I still got
Like, give the check before you actually say you're no longer employed here.
Yeah. So like, what? And she was like, yeah. So and security had to come like escort me out. Like I was like a criminal.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh
Did they
my
do that
God.
with everybody?
Yeah, they did with. Remember?
Oh, I remember. Why did they do that with?
Because
He was
he's
in-
a giant black dude.
Yeah.
Oh, the truth hurts, man.
Yeah. And then when they hired him back, and he was like a receptionist, right? Yeah.
He's still there, I think.
When I started there, he was doing fitness stuff with everybody, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he do
No.
that?
Well,
Was that-
when you were doing podcasts, yes. But when he was there with us, he got hired on as an advisor.
No, yeah, because remember I worked there after you though.
Yeah.
So when I was working there, I'm pretty sure was that the right time or was that before I came?
It was just before.
Yeah.
Right before.
Got you.
Yeah. So when we went to the Robinson building, that's when he got fired because this fool convinced like maintenance and IT to install a TV in his office. And this guy was watching like Judge Judy like during the day. Remember that? And he got caught. He was just watching fucking TV.
see, the
On a
problem there's no
full-size
respect
TV.
for success anymore.
Oh my God, that is funny.
And
dude.
then I got his office because we all moved into that. And I remember I got his office and I was going through I was putting things away in drawers and everything. And I opened up a drawer and it was nothing but fucking nail clippings, bro. In this drawer.
Come on.
It's like fucking nail clippings, dude. I was like, oh hell no, dude.
It just for more than 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like it was just clipped on a
clipping
regular
drawer.
basis, just
Yeah.
clipped his nails into the drawer and left the drawer.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
How isn't the trash can right there? I don't understand.
You would think, right?
You could also just do it at home.
Yeah.
Do you
Just
remember
spitballing,
years ago? Speaking of fingernails, do you remember when I clipped my toenail and it shot off my foot and hit my eye?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And my eye was like bloodshot red. Like it was so fucked. And I remember, and I was at the time, I think I was about to get in the shower or I had just gotten out of the shower. And so I had no clothes on. And then I was in the bedroom. And I clipped the nail. It hit me in the eye. I jumped up. Towel fell off. I was running around the room. I was like, "What the fuck happened to my eye?" I looked in the mirror and it was terrifying because I could literally see the blood spreading across my eye. My wife comes in and she's like, "What the hell are you doing?" Yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought about that in a long time. Speaking of old memories, that was when we were in the old rental house. So that would have been oh my God, 2010.
Yeah.
Maybe
10 years
9,
ago,
10.
12 years ago, yeah.
I didn't even know you guys then. I was
Yeah,
in Texas.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, when did you come here to Colorado?
2011. Yeah, graduated,
Okay.
quit my job, gave 2 weeks notice because I'm a nice guy,
Yeah.
and moved up here sight unseen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. What drew you to Colorado?
My girlfriend at the time. Now my wife.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Other girlfriend's still in Texas.
Well, that's good. It worked out.
Yeah, it worked. I was stuck here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Oh man. And you guys are both natives.
Yep.
Grew up here in good old Colorado. I wish I was a native. My school's really laid back, so I wear shorts a lot, and I love shorts. So I wear shorts all the time. And so I often get confused as a native because it'll be like, fucking 30 degrees outside.
I know you told that story
Yeah.
about the guy at the gas station. You were like, he's like, oh, I can tell a Colorado native when I see one.
Yeah.
And you were like,
Yeah. I just felt bad because I didn't correct them. I don't correct people when they say it. I'm like,
You can
I
just buy the bumper
secretly-
sticker. They don't check your license or anything. You just buy the sticker.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
put it
But then I'm full on posing, bro. I'll take it if it's an accident. I mean, I'm not going to correct them.
I got the car used.
it was already on there. I got it from Rocky Auto. They don't take anything off.
Yeah, I just love Colorado, man. It's so awesome. And it's been crazy to see California, where I'm from, like the direction it's gone. I'd say Texas has changed a lot too, probably since you've been here.
Yeah. I'm not going back, but
What part of Texas were you from?
outside of Dallas.
Outside of Dallas, yeah. Like I have a point of reference. I'm like, there's Dallas and Austin. I know the cities. I've seen them on maps.
He looked up
before.
like, yeah.
Well, it's like it's this fun game. Whenever you meet someone from Texas, outside Texas, you're just like, "Oh, you're from Texas? I'm from Texas." Yeah. You're like, "Oh, I'm from Dallas." Like, "Oh, I'm from Dallas." Like, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm from Grand Prairie." And they'd be like, "Oh," they get more and more specific. And like my wife did that. We met a guy at a house party here in Colorado, like a few years after we moved here. And he's like, "Oh, I'm from Texas too," and we're like, "Oh, we're from Dallas." And he's like, "Oh, I'm from Dallas." Like, "Oh, what part?" She's like, "Oh, from McKinney." He's like, "Oh, I'm from McKinney." And she's like, "Oh, I grew up in like North McKinney near El Dorado Drive." And he's like, "I grew up near El Dorado Drive." And you find out they lived 2 blocks apart. They went to high school together and separately moved to Colorado, and they ran at a party and they never talked to each other.
How crazy.
But yeah, it's wild. But yeah, it's a fun game you play with. Like, he's like, you say you're from Texas and you say you're from Dallas. And then, like, I said Grand Prairie. That's a whole different city. That's not a neighborhood. That's they have their own mayor, their own situation and stuff. And then you get, like, from there, you get more and more specific. Until you find out, like, oh, yeah, I was your neighbor. Like, oh, you just didn't realize it.
That's kind of remarkable.
Yeah.
Usually it's over for me at California. I'm from California. Oh, I'm from California. Where are you from? I'm from Fresno. Nope, not me.
No, yeah.
Sick. Cool.
I'm
All
from
right.
San Diego.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what they said to you. That's what they
I'm
said.
sorry,
I'm
man.
sorry. I didn't choose it.
You know, it's funny. I always talk so much shit about Fresno. And then a few years back, right when I was starting teaching, my grandma passed away. And so I went out to California and I brought Myra and the kids. It was the first time. And they were all like, Dad, you said this place is so ugly. Like, this place is beautiful. What are you talking about? And it was really weird to see it through fresh eyes coming back later and just realizing it was the emotions. It was the people. It was like, you know what I mean? It wasn't the city of Fresno, but you kind of like conflate those two things.
Yeah. Well, it's like my great grandparents lived in Fresno as well, and I've told you that before.
Yeah, I
And
remember that.
they had a farm out there, and it was like a farm, but it was like in the houses that we live in here. But they had like a horse, they had like chickens and all that shit, like on a regular
Oh, wow.
plot of land, like out there.
Yeah, a lot of produce comes out of that. I mean, it produces the most. I want to say it was grapes. I don't even remember anymore. But it's one of the largest producers of fruits and vegetables in the whole world.
Wow.
Fresno or California?
Central Valley.
Central Valley.
Where
Oh, yeah.
Fresno is like the biggest city there.
Yeah, I remember like going to like my grandparents, my great grandparents, and like picking out chicks, like little chicks.
Oh, really?
At like the store, what do they call them?
The
Store?
feed store, chicken,
Yeah, something.
chicken stores. I don't know.
The livestock. I don't know.
The black people call KFC.
That's the chicken store.
But I remember like getting them like and holding little chicks in my hand and like walking around.
Oh, that's
in my
wild.
hands. You know what I want?
What?
I want a duck.
You want a duck?
Yeah.
What you gonna do to duck?
I want a duck, dude. I just want a duck, man. I don't know. It's like
Where did this
I
come
get
from?
like
Hang out, have a
yeah, like I get like lost in like Instagram reels, and you're like, oh, look at that duck, dude. It's like swimming and everything. And I was asking like Tia, I was like, well, what do they? I was like, hold on, where do they poop? Where do they pee? Hold on, I'm not trying to pick that up because I have an elderly cat and he has an attitude, and I already get pissed at that. So
This is how you know Mike is different Mike from when we met Mike. Like when we met Mike, do you remember he was driving that like little itty bitty Geo Metro, the Fled Flintstone
my
car?
God.
And he lived over there in the hood, right? Now you
my
could tell that Mike is like upper middle class and shit. Like his wife drives a Tesla and this motherfucker talking about I want a duck, a pet duck.
Like to eat? No. To get familiar with friends.
Come a long way, Pierce.
Yeah.
A lot of hard work though, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Growing up or the duck? Which one's a lot harder?
Both. And it is weird though how when people are not from where you're from and you tell them like Aurora, like if people are like, oh yeah, like Mike, when you're like, oh yeah, I'm from Aurora.
Yeah.
Like it's not Aurora now what it was then. They're like, oh, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
Aurora's so nice. People are like, oh, where'd you grow up? I'm like, Park Hill. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
that my favorite coffee shop is in Park Hill.
Now.
Well,
But actually, it's from like Montbello. I was like, I'm from Montbello. That's where I grew up mostly. Like earlier, Montbello, and people are like Montbello. Like that's now it's not even like nobody knows
no.
Montbello. Like everyone that comes in here, like Montbello. Like yeah, it's because I used to call Green Valley Ranch New Montbello.
Yeah, I remember.
But now
you
I had to
said
explain
that.
it the reverse now. Now it's like Montbello. Like what? Montbello? I'm like, Green Valley Ranch? Yeah. It's old Green Valley Ranch. Now that's what I say.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's crazy how much changed just since I've been here, dude. I mean, in the last whatever, when did I come here? 2004, something like that. Like how much things have expanded. This out here was all fields, dude. There was nothing out here.
Yeah. I mean, the house that I live in, like, was not even like the whole area was plains and like non-existent stuff. Like even the old house that I was living in,
It's that urban sprawl.
was all just plains and fields and stuff like that. So yeah.
I was at the first game ever played at Coors Field.
Really?
There wasn't shit out there.
Yeah.
It was like Coors Field and dirt as far as you could see.
Really?
No joke. Like all that shit that's down there now, there was apartments, there was nothing. There was Coors Field, and it was like we went to go. It was a big deal to take I-25, and it felt like we were going to Wyoming. There was just nothing as you got out there. There was just nothing there. And then you pull in, and you're like, oh, there's a baseball stadium out here.
Isn't it crazy how fast things grow and how rapidly?
Yeah, Mike, you're the only person in Colorado that's been to like where I grew up. Like my neighborhood, it's the exact same. It has not changed. Since I was born in 1989, it is the exact same.
Wow.
Same neighbors, same everything. They die eventually, but some of them are about
Yeah, that was when I went back to, where I grew up from. It was weird to see it because it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Like I was shocked at how there was nobody outside. Like when I was growing up, there was kids all up and down the road. Everybody was outside all the time.
I was
It was
playing video
packed.
games down $1.
Yeah, and it was like a ghost town or something. I was like, where is everybody? They're just inside the house, I guess.
They're all TikToking. They're all
Yeah.
dances in their house.
Dude, they would just kick us out the door, lock the door, and be like, go find something to do.
My grandma still lives in the same house in Montbello that we grew up in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my grandma too until she passed away.
Yeah.
And then my grandfather just moved out here, by the way. Just out of nowhere. He just decided he was going to up and move. He moved in with my parents, and he lives out here in Colorado. I got to go see him the other day and just like shoot the shit, talk basketball. He's a diehard Celtics fan, unfortunately. But no, it's really great. But it's crazy. I was thinking about being in his position and being like living in the same house, in the same place, and you're 84 years old, and you're like, I'm just going to go do something different. Like,
I like it.
I do. I like it too. And he seems
get
so...
to that point, be like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Been doing this for 60 years.
Yeah.
That's long enough.
Yeah, I think it's important to see other places in the world, like that lyric of Bob Marley's where he says, if you're not living right, travel wide, travel wide. Because I think we all get so narrowed into our own little boxes, not just our own neighborhoods and stuff, but even countries, just like you think this is the only way to be, and you realize like, damn, there's so many different ways to live life. There's so many different ways to build societies. There's so many different ways to approach everything.
And then you go to those places and you're like, okay, I have it all right. I'm
Yeah.
doing okay.
Yeah,
I'm all
that
right.
too. Yeah, depending on where you go.
Like I said,
sure.
like when we went to Greece and we went to like China, like all those places, you're just like, yeah, I think I'm
Home sweet home.
I think I'm doing all right. Like, it's like people say go travel around, go visit other cultures, experience it, and then you're like, okay, yeah, I experienced it. I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, we are looking at getting a house in the Philippines.
Oh,
Just because I think it'd be awesome. Plus, I've still literally never been. So, speaking of Sight unseen.
Yeah.
No, I'll go before we
little
buy
bit
a
more.
house.
Because Colorado uses the same money to speak the same language.
Yeah, they actually speak a surprising amount of English, according to my wife. She said, because everybody learns it in school, which is why hers is so good. She moved here when she was 16. And in all honesty, she has a pretty thick accent, but her grammar and the way she speaks and her vocabulary, superior to most standard Americans for sure. Even intelligent Americans, educated Americans, which is crazy because that's what happens when you study the language from the outside, growing up your whole life. You know?
Yeah. Isn't the Philippines violent, Dollar?
Depends on where you're at. The South is real dicey, but she's from Angeles City, which is like the far north of the Philippines. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No, I'm not looking to relocate, Mike. I just want to have the house there, like, so I can go there if I want to.
Airbnb it.
Yeah. No, because she has so much family. They'd probably stay there, most likely. Yeah.
And then when you go there and visit, you wouldn't have any room to stay at your own house.
I'm gonna kick him out. The boss is coming. Everybody out.
You guys go on vacation for a week. I'm going to be here for a week.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Joe used to have like employees in the Philippines, and he used to tell me like the pay that they got. I was like,
pretty wild.
Damn, dude. I was like, that is nothing. He goes, no, they're
good there,
rich down there. I was like, damn. Like, how much are you saying they're like making?
I had one employee in America that left, and I was like, oh, I want to backfill his position. And so here's the thing, like, I'm not going to be in America. Because like his one position is going to be 5 people in the Philippines, plus extra. So I have an employee, really smart guy, and again, like Mike said, this is good for the Philippines. But so use the Philippine peso there. It's
Yep.
I want to say it's like 1,500 Philippines pesos to the dollar. It's not decimalized; it's a little bit different. But he gets paid like 238,000 pesos a year, and it comes out to about $9,000 a year US.
Wow.
And I was like, at first I saw that, I was like, that's fucked up. That's modern day slavery. That's not good.
No,
And I
it's
looked up like the average family income. This is one guy that does it. That's more than the average family income from Manila, like the capital, like the metropolitan area. But yeah, I told him like, just keep hustling. Like, I don't know. It's like he's smart. He's went to college and stuff. Because like everyone I worked with there, they're all super smart because college is free there.
Yeah.
If you do like well enough in high school, like obviously if you're a moron, they don't care.
Right.
But like I worked with like a few people in the Philippines, and like they had degrees in chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, government science, political science. And they're smart as hell. Like they could come here and get $150,000 a year, but they're in the Philippines. So, but I mean, they do great, and they love it there. And other than, I'd love to visit, other than like monsoons and stuff.
Yeah.
You get spoiled living in Colorado where there's not really any weather. Like it snows.
What I love out
sometimes
here
it snows a lot.
I love there's no earthquakes out here.
Yes. there's no tornadoes out here. Love that. Big fan of the no tornadoes.
Yes, for sure. People really underestimate the power of tornadoes and earthquakes, man. They can level places.
Well, you guys weren't here on one of the podcasts where I did the fun fact of the United States is the only country that has all of the weather.
Yep.
Blizzards. They technically say earthquakes is weather. So blizzards, earthquakes, droughts, deserts, rains, monsoons, floods, like all in one area. Like no other place around the world has all of those things.
That's why we're the best.
That's right.
Like a true Texan,
Yeah.
America.
You know what makes diamonds? Pressure. Right?
Such a variety of climates, landscapes, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. You were just in Jamaica recently.
Oh yeah, that was good. That was good. Yeah, I went for my friend's high school wedding. Friend from high school, his wedding, and his wife was there. She's an actress and stuff. I was on People magazine. That's right. So they're smiling. 2 seconds of fame is over.
Wait, what? You were on the cover of People magazine?
Yeah, I was in People magazine.
I don't know nothing about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His friend his wife was like in the Blair Witch 2, and she's like produced and directed a whole bunch of movies and everything too. Yeah.
It was dope.
Interesting.
We met Charlie from Chicago Fire. He was there. Yeah, he's like the nicest dude, man.
And they live in Jamaica.
Her family's from Jamaica, so that's why they wanted to do that. And so
okay.
everybody flew in, and They got married at this place called the Patu Castle. And the People
It looks
magazine.
nice, dude.
It was beautiful.
That sounds fun, dude.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good time. It was really fun. And it was over New Year's Eve. It was wild. New Year's Eve in Jamaica is crazy.
Wait, and that's not your first time in Jamaica, right?
That was my first time in Negril, though. We usually go to Ocho Rios. And that was my first time in Negril. But it was fun. It was a good time. I wouldn't go back for New Year's Eve, though. It was a little much.
Weren't you telling me that one time you went to like when you were in Ocho Rios and you took the taxi and it was like no, he didn't fucking care about roads. Like,
Nah, bro. They during New Year's Eve, it's like that. Like people, there's so many cars that they just drive on the sidewalks. And they'll drive. Yeah, there's like no traffic. I mean, there's just thousands of people in the streets, and the police are like, just don't kill each other. They don't care. Like people are driving, and like they'll pull over and pop up a bar on the roof of their car and start drinking. And oncoming traffic doesn't care. Motorcycles, it's like one big party like 6 a.m. and then everything just goes quiet.
Whoa.
But it was fun. It was a good time. I realized how old I am though, because I couldn't party, man. I was by like 12:30. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah, 12:30 feels pretty late.
also Joe Dub said that he had like, you had a beer.
Yeah, a beer last night at like 11. I was like, oh no.
What am I doing to myself?
Well, it was morning like 6. Like, oh shit. I was like, I'm gonna work from home today. I'm not well.
Yeah. I was doing 4 a.m. workouts forever. Sorry for that. I texted you one time. I text Michael all the time. Fucking like 4:54, whatever, 5:30, it doesn't matter. But I did it for a long time. It was working really well. But the sleep, man, as I'm getting older, like it's weird because I have always read that as you get older, you can go on less sleep. But I have, me, I had a lifetime of like sleep deprivation. Like I would just sleep, 3-4 hours. I remember all through high school and college and was just like that. And so my schedule is so tough that I was like 4 a.m. It's got to happen because if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to get it in. And I was doing that since October, I want to say, of last year. I started doing it and I was doing great, but it was when my getting to bed on time started falling off. That's when I started feeling it. Like, because I'd have to be in bed at like 8 o'clock, dude. Like 8 to 8:30, I'm out. And the kids would make fun of me and everything. And it's typical old man. And then texting my friends at ridiculous hours.
And then
it's normal, like a normal fucking text.
And I'm the opposite of Dollar. I'm texting him at like at 10:30 at night. And I'm like, oh shit.
I'm like, I've been out for like 2 hours, bro.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to wake you up. Sorry.
But the sleep is important because as I fell behind on getting to bed and I just kept taking it for granted. And then I got real addicted to the 4 a.m. workout. And so then it was like, it was happening without fail. And then a couple of nights happened. It was like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. I'm getting to bed, finishing stuff up and then getting up and then doing that days and days in a row. Just caught up with me. So I switched to the evening. I told you this week.
How's your evenings going now?
Fucking hate it, bro. I'm a morning workout person. I like when no one else is awake and you get that quiet time. No, it's all right though. I'll get used to it. I'll get used to it. It's hard because the day's so draining, and then you come home and the kids hit you. And there's dinner or whatever, and I try to get it in right before dinner, and it's like, tiring. All my lifts have gone down. I'm like, damn it. Like I just have that pep in my step, sipping on a little coffee in the morning.
I know I texted him. I was like, I'll start working out with you on Fridays before podcasts.
Yeah, which is honestly usually a day off for me, Fridays. But yeah, no, I'd be down. Try it. I think it would be good. I think it'd be good to like work out with somebody. And
I think in the last 2 years, I've probably been to the gym 4 times.
Really? Yeah. Well, one thing about you though, Bruce, is that your nutrition is always on point.
It's not bad. Yeah, I mean, I'm just weird. I could eat the same thing every day.
And he's black.
He's genius. And episode 145 was the last episode of the Mike Tony Show.
No, because I joked around on that Instagram post of his on there, and I was like, every other person saying Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, Happy Valentine's Day from our abs.
And here are the Leroys. Here's the Leroys with all their abs everywhere.
Oh my god, I was rolling so hard when I saw that.
I was like, every picture's ab. What the damn?
Shit, if you got them, bro, why not? No, but that's all what it comes down to, because working out is really important. I think it's really good for you. But I think nutrition is hands down way more important than lifting weights or getting buff right? If you keep your BMI healthy and you have,
That's false. Stupid BMI is false.
it's not false. It is a very generalized thing that does not apply accurately to most. Not to most, but to a large portion of people.
Technically obese.
Yeah.
My BMI suggests that I am obese.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it depends, because if you carry a large amount of muscle mass, right, you're going to find yourself in that category. Even Fran, when he was Mr. Olympia, was obese, right? So, of course, there's times when it doesn't apply. But I think for the average person, particularly people who don't, hit the gym like Mike Pierce over here, fucking turning into the Hulk on us. But yeah, no, it's limited. But you can't do everything on BMI. I think a better measurement is probably like waist size or something like that.
Your visceral fat levels.
Well, yeah, if you're going to get the test, I'm sure. Yeah, of course, the more specific it can be. But no, nutrition is really good. And I think that's something you've done consistently for a lot of years, right?
Yeah, just eat funny. People are like, "Oh, you eat weird." I'm like, "Not really. I just eat oatmeal, protein shake, usually cottage cheese with some berries and some honey in it.
Yeah,
I can just eat the same thing. Like I don't care
so
about.
We're like the same. Remember?
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm kind of like that too. In my morning, I love my oatmeal and blueberries with protein in it, and it's always the same things. Those protein shakes. You have to be careful on the shakes. We talked about that. Was that last episode or episode before?
Yep.
Because you probably know, like,
taxing on your kidneys.
Taxing on the kidneys. They're saying like too much, like getting powdered protein all the time and getting large quantities of it.
Got to get it from real food.
Yeah, it's better from real food for sure. I mean, if you have like one shake a day,
that's not.
Yeah,
no,
that's fine.
That's not a problem.
Yeah, like 2, 3. It's
like,
hard.
What's like we were talking about? What's the protein you try to hit? 230 or something like that.
220 a day.
220. Yeah, and we were talking about how I know that's what we were saying. Like without a shake too, I can't imagine. But you can get carried away real fast with shakes when you're trying to hit large amounts of protein like that, and you're like having a third shake and a protein bar and all this like man-made shit. Like you want your food to be more natural usually. But
yeah, it was like 3,300 calories a day.
That's so crazy. You did that for a while too. That was when you were bulking.
No,
or is that your cut now?
Yeah,
that's your cut now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man. That is crazy. So what's a typical, share your breakfast. You talked about it one time before. It was pretty big.
So my breakfast?
Yeah.
My breakfast is like I do like the Kodiak cakes, that protein
those are
pancake
good.
stuff. So I make a little waffle and then I make a breakfast sandwich. It's 2 egg whites, the turkey sausage. So three links turkey sausage. That baby brie is like a spreadable cheese. It's only like 1.5 grams of fat for that cheese, and like cheese is like very fatty, right? Obviously, and so I have that on there, and then I have an apple, 2 clementines, a yogurt, a protein bar, a protein shake, and that's my breakfast.
That's just breakfast?
That's just breakfast. Yeah. I know. I was like, whoa. That's crazy.
I'll have 1 Pop-Tart. Like 3 cups of coffee. I'm good to
go. And then for lunch, I usually have like rice with something like either chicken or cod. Or yeah.
Yeah, fish is good. Fish is good in general.
And then actually I'll have a Pop-Tart as my afternoon snack because carbs is really good to have right before you do a workout. Gives you that energy.
Yep. Same reason I eat them.
Yeah. And then dinner, dinner's just regular dinner and then protein shake.
Yeah. That's a lot, Pierce. I can't believe you're cutting at 3,300. Is that what you said? It's so wild. You're a big dude though too.
Yeah.
Carrying a lot of muscle mass, I guess. Yeah, but the 220, I told you I couldn't get anywhere close to 220 grams of protein. I'd have to do shakes. I'd have to be drinking like multiple shakes a day.
I couldn't eat that much food.
Yeah. Yeah. I always remember when we would have like potlucks and stuff like that at work and we'd have all the junk food. And like our mentality was always, we'd be like, dude, I ain't eat breakfast. I'm not having nothing. I'm ready for this today.
Yep.
And every time Bruce Leroy would be like, no, you just eat his normal breakfast, have his cottage cheese snack, have his same regimented thing every day. And it took me a while to figure out that like that makes a big difference when the junk food's in front of you, when you feel satiated and you are full of nutritious food that's actually doing something for your body. You're not going to go as ham as maybe we did.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie though, the potluck wasn't like a discipline thing. It was like, I don't eat shit
I
from
don't
people
trust
who I
people.
don't know. And I'm never going to change because I've been to some people's houses
Yeah.
and their house is nasty. And I'm like, there's no way
That's where all the best food comes from.
Nah.
Yeah, remember, this is a repeat. This was like on episode 5. You guys talked about this. Holy shit, that was it went by pretty quick, man. Another Friday night. We're gonna have to take 2 weeks off because I'm gonna be in Hawaii next
he's gonna
week
be
and the
living it
week
up.
after. Yeah, spring break, baby.
Yes,
Here we
sir.
come. Yeah. So, but we will be back. Dom Juju is gonna be
Gordon,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, he'll be on the 7th.
Yeah, then we'll have some upcoming guests, some bodybuilders, some coaches, stuff like that. But
Thanks,
yeah.
Joe Dub. Thanks, Bruce Leroy.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
All of our podcasts are back on Spotify, thanks to Tony Dollar. So check that out. And with that dollar, it is a wrap. Cheers.
Cheers.